Bobby, the iconic singer, had a life filled with weird family dynamics and scandals. He did not only marry his mentor's widow 3 months after his death, he rocked his outfit to his burial, and if that's not all, he had an affair with his stepdaughter, but that's nothing compared to what we are about to unravel in this video. Recently, his daughter has come forward to confirm the long-standing rumors, and the details will shock you. Stay tuned to find out. However, let's start with his background. Early life of Womack. Womack was born in the Fairfax neighborhood of Cleveland, specifically near East 85th Street and Quincy Avenue, to his parents Naomi Womack and Friendly Womack. He was the third son among 5 siblings, with older brothers, Friendly Jr. and Curtis, and younger siblings, Harry and Cecil. Growing up in the impoverished Cleveland slums, the family faced financial struggles and often had to scrounge for food, including fishing. Pig snouts out of the supermarket's trash. Womack frequently had to share a bed with his brothers due to their tight living situation during his childhood. His mother saw his singing talent as a potential way for him to overcome the challenges of growing up in the ghetto.
Stop and take a real good listen.
Looking back on his early years, Womack noted the vast difference in lifestyle between his childhood and that of his children, emphasizing how his kids had a much more comfortable life than he ever could have imagined.
Because the poor people don't carry no weight. Even if they all came together, they got to take care of
He
them.
described the neighborhood as deeply impoverished, mentioning that the residents lived alongside rats without much concern. Growing up in a devout Baptist household, the Womack family was deeply immersed in various church activities. Their mother showcased her musical talents by playing the organ for the church choir, while their father had a multifaceted role as a steelworker, part-time minister, and musician who excelled in playing the guitar and singing gospel music. Despite their father's stern warnings against touching his precious guitar, all 5 brothers couldn't resist the temptation to sneakily strum the strings whenever he was away. One memorable incident involved 8-year-old Bobby breaking a guitar string and attempting to MacGyver a fix using a shoelace. When their father stumbled upon the broken string and the absent shoelace, instead of scolding Bobby, he decided to give him a chance to showcase his hidden talent by playing the guitar for him. This unexpected turn of events led to Friendly deciding to purchase guitars for each of his 5 sons as a way to nurture their passion for music. Interestingly, Bobby, being left-handed, ended up unknowingly playing his guitar upside down instead of having it restrung for a left-handed player.
Most people go down, I'm going up. It's just taking the guitar, turning it upside down, and making all the chords.
This unique approach to playing the instrument ultimately became Bobby's signature style and set him apart from his brothers, showcasing his natural talent and creativity at a young age. His career. In the mid-1950s, Bobby Womack, who was just 10 years old at the time, joined his brothers to form a group called the Womack Brothers, and they began performing on the Midwest gospel circuit. Along with Naomi on organ and Friendly Sr. on guitar, the family group had a unique sound that caught the attention of many. Their first break came in 1954 when they released the single Buffalo Bill under the name Curtis Womack and the Womack Brothers on the Pennant record label. The song received positive feedback, prompting the group to release more records in the following years. During one of their performances in the mid-1950s, the Womack Brothers caught the eye of Sam Cooke, the lead singer of the Soul Stirrers. Cooke was impressed by their talent and took the young group under his wing, serving as their mentor and guiding them in their musical journey. With Cooke's support, the Womack Brothers were able to secure national tours, including one with the Staple Singers. This exposure helped them gain popularity and expand their fan base outside of the Midwest circuit. Bobby Womack's soulful voice and charismatic stage presence quickly made him a standout within the group. As they continued to tour and record music, the Womack Brothers gained a reputation for their energetic live performances and unique blend of gospel and soul music. Bobby's songwriting skills also began to shine through, and he started penning songs that showcased his personal experiences and emotions. The group's sound evolved, incorporating elements of R&B and rock and roll into their music, which set them apart from other gospel acts of the era. By the late 1950s, the Womack brothers had grown into a well-established group within the music industry, known for their soulful harmonies and powerful performances. Their collaborations with artists like Sam Cooke and the Staple Singers further solidified their reputation as a rising talent in the gospel and R&B genres. Throughout the late 1950s and early 1960s, the Womack brothers continued to release music and tour extensively, building a dedicated fan base and earning critical acclaim for their unique sound. Bobby Womack's growth as an artist was evident in the group's music, with his lyrics becoming more personal, reflecting his own life experiences. The group's live performances became legendary, drawing crowds from all walks of life and showcasing their dynamic stage presence and musical talent. Despite facing challenges along the way, including lineup changes and industry pressures, the Womack brothers persevered and continued to make music that resonated with their audience. In the early 1960s, the Womack brothers' career reached new heights as they embarked on national tours and gained exposure on a larger scale. Their music began to cross over into the mainstream, attracting a diverse audience and expanding their fan base. As the 1960s progressed, the Womack brothers' music continued to evolve, incorporating new influences and styles into their sound. Bobby Womack's growth as a songwriter and performer was evident in their music, with his lyrics becoming more introspective and reflective of his journey. The group's live performances remained a highlight, with Bobby's soulful voice and engaging stage presence captivating audiences wherever they went. Their reputation as a dynamic and talented music group continued to grow, earning them respect and admiration from both fans and fellow musicians. By the mid-1960s, the Womack brothers had established themselves as a leading force in the gospel and R&B genres, with Bobby Womack at the forefront as a talented songwriter and performer. The group's collaborations with industry veterans further cemented their status as a respected and versatile music group. Although Curtis typically assumed the role of lead vocalist, Bobby was granted the chance to share the spotlight and showcase his deep baritone vocals, creating a striking contrast with his brother's velvety tenor. Bobby's performances also saw him embodying a preacher-like attitude, a persona that earned him a nickname that would become synonymous with his stage presence. Making a bold decision at just 16 years old, Bobby chose to forfeit his education by dropping out of high school. In the early 1960s, Cooke founded SR Records and signed the quintet to the label in 1961, marking the beginning of their music career. Through SR Records, they released a series of gospel singles, showcasing their talent and vocal abilities. After some time, Cooke decided to rebrand the group as the Valentinos, a move that would shift their focus from gospel music to a more secular soul and pop-influenced sound. He then relocated the Valentinos to Los Angeles, where they could explore new opportunities and expand their musical horizons. Cooke took on the role of producing and arranging the group's first hit single, Lookin' for a Love, which was a pop version of a gospel song they had previously recorded called Couldn't Hear Nobody Pray. This new sound resonated with audiences, especially in the R&B genre, and soon the Valentinos found themselves opening for James Brown on tour, gaining valuable experience and exposure. In 1964, the Valentinos reached new heights with their hit song, It's All Over Now, a track with country influences that was co-written by Bobby, one of the group members, as their rendition of the song climbed the charts. The Rolling Stones decided to cover it, further solidifying the Valentinos' place in the music industry. Womack was an integral member of Cooke's band, joining him on tours and in the studio from 1961 onwards. Unfortunately, the trajectory of the Valentinos took a devastating turn after the tragic and untimely death of Sam Cooke, who was shot and killed in a Los Angeles motel. Devastated by the loss of Cooke, the band of brothers disbanded, resulting in the closure of SR Records, which they were signed to. Womack took a bold step into a solo career in 1965, starting with Him Records before signing with Checker Records, a branch of Chess Records. Critics and fans were divided following Womack's controversial marriage to Cooke's widow, Barbara Cooke, with some radio stations and DJs even boycotting his music. Despite the backlash, Womack persevered and continued to establish himself as a reputable session musician. From 1965 to 1968, he collaborated closely with the legendary Ray Charles on various tours and studio recordings. Going solo around 1965, Bobby Womack made the life-changing decision to relocate to Memphis, where he landed a coveted position at Chips Moman's esteemed American studios. It was during his time there that Womack truly showcased his exceptional guitar skills, leaving his mark on iconic recordings by artists such as Joe Tex and the Box Tops. While he did lend his guitar talents to some of Aretha Franklin's albums, including the acclaimed Lady Soul, it is worth noting that he did not play on the hit track Chain of Fools, despite previous misinformation suggesting otherwise. His prowess as a songwriter began to gain recognition within the music industry when the legendary Wilson Pickett expressed interest in recording some of Womack's original compositions. Notably, songs like I'm a Midnight Mover and I'm in Love caught Pickett's ear, solidifying Womack's reputation as a talented songwriter. In 1968, Bobby Womack took a major step forward in his career by signing a contract with Minute Records and releasing his debut solo album, Fly Me to the Moon. The album featured his breakthrough hit cover of Barry McGuire's California Dreamin', which catapulted Womack into the spotlight. The following year, Womack embarked on a fruitful collaboration with Gabor Szabo, co-writing the instrumental track Breezin', which would later become a smash hit for George Benson. Additionally, Womack delved into the world of rock music, collaborating with esteemed artists such as Sly and the Family Stone and Janis Joplin. He lent his distinctive vocals and guitar work to the Family Stone's groundbreaking album There's a Riot Going On, and penned the poignant ballad Trust Me for Joplin's iconic album Pearl. Interestingly, Bobby Womack found himself among the last individuals to see Janis Joplin before her tragic passing, having paid her a visit shortly before her untimely death at the Landmark Hotel in Los Angeles, California. Following 2 additional albums released under Minute, Bobby Womack decided to transition to a new record label, United Artists, where he transformed both his appearance and musical style with the release of the album Communication. This album marked a significant breakthrough for Womack, as it featured his initial top 40 hits, That's the Way I Feel About Ya, which reached the 2nd position on the R&B charts and number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100 during the spring of 1972. After the success of his album Communication, Womack's prominence in the music industry was further elevated with the release of 2 more albums in 1972. The first of these albums, Understanding, gained recognition for the track I Can Understand It, which was later covered by the funk band New Birth and a trio of siblings from Bobby's former group, the Valentinos. Understanding also produced 2 hit singles, namely Woman's Gotta Have It and Harry Hippie. The latter song, originally written for Womack by Jim Ford in a country style, was rearranged by Womack into an R&B version. Harry Hippie went on to become Womack's first single to achieve gold certification. Additionally, Woman's Gotta Have It marked Womack's first single to reach the number 1 spot on the R&B charts. Following the success of Understanding, Womack released another notable album, the soundtrack for the blaxploitation film Across 110th Street. The title track gained popularity upon its initial release in 1972 and was later featured in the opening and closing scenes of the 1997 film Jackie Brown. In 1973, Womack continued his streak of hit albums with Facts of Life, which included the top 40 hit Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out, a song originally performed by Sam Cooke years earlier. Bobby Womack's musical career was on an upward trajectory, solidifying his status as a prominent figure in the music industry during this time. In 1974, Womack achieved significant success by releasing a revamped version of his initial hit single, Lookin' for a Love. This solo rendition surpassed the original Valentino's version, securing the second #1 spot on the R&B chart and reaching number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. The track was part of the album Lookin' for a Love Again, which also included the moderately successful song You're Welcome Stop On By, later covered by Rufus and Chaka Khan. Following the tragic news of his brother Harry's passing, Bobby Womack's career began to experience a slowdown. Despite his efforts to continue producing albums with United Artists in 1975 and 1976, they did not reach the same level of success as his previous works. In 1975, Womack collaborated with Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones on Wood's second solo album, Now Look, showcasing his versatility and willingness to work with artists from different genres. Additionally, in 1976, Womack organized a heartfelt charity event at the Hollywood Palladium to raise funds for his friend, the legendary singer Jackie Wilson, who had suffered a heart attack. This event not only showcased Womack's generosity and compassion, but also highlighted the deep connections he had within the music industry. During the late 1970s, Womack faced challenges with his recordings, but remained active as a collaborator with various artists, most notably Wilton Felder of the Crusaders. Despite personal tragedy, including the devastating loss of his son, Truth Bobby, in 1978, Womack showed resilience and determination by establishing a production company called Truth. Teaming up with new co-producer and keyboardist Patrick Moten, known for his previous work with Ike Turner and Natalie Cole, Womack released the album Roads of Life on Arista Records in 1979. This marked a new chapter in his career, demonstrating his ability to adapt and evolve as an artist. In 1980, Womack's collaboration with Wilton Felder on the album Inherit the Wind on MCA Records further showcased his soulful vocals and musical prowess. The track, No Matter How High I Get. I'll Still Be Looking Up to You, recorded in 1979, gained recognition as a soul classic, particularly in the UK, where it received praise from prominent industry figures. Signing with Beverly Glen Records in 1981, Womack achieved a major milestone with his first R&B top 10 single in 5 years, If You Think You're Lonely Now, reaching number 3 on the R&B singles chart. The success of his following album, The Poet, which topped the R&B album charts, solidified his status as a respected and influential figure in the music industry. Throughout the 1980s, Womack continued to make waves with 2 more R&B top 10 singles, including a memorable duet with Patti LaBelle titled Love Has Finally Come at Last in 1984. His collaboration with the group Living in a Box on the track Living in a Box in 1986 further showcased his ability to connect with new audiences and stay relevant in an ever-changing music landscape. His complicated private life. After his mentor, Sam Cooke, tragically passed away, Bobby found himself at Cooke's funeral alongside Barbara, wearing one of Cooke's suits as a way to pay homage to the man who had been such an influential figure in his life. In a bold move, Bobby even arrived at the funeral service in Cooke's car, a poignant gesture of respect and admiration. Following Cooke's death on February 26, 1965, a 20-year-old Bobby Womack and Cooke's widow, Barbara Cooke, who was 10 years his senior, attempted to marry at the Los Angeles County Courthouse just 77 days later. Womack showing his deep connection to Cook, chose to wear one of Cook's suits for the occasion, a decision that drew the attention of the media. Unfortunately, their marriage application was denied due to Womack's age, as he was under 21 and did not have parental consent. Undeterred, they eventually tied the knot on March 5th, the day after Womack turned 21. Barbara, in a moment of vulnerability and honesty, expressed her desire for their union, telling Bobby, "If you promise to give me 5 years, I will give you a lifetime. You know, whatever you need to do. I just need you to walk with me here." The marriage sparked controversy within the music industry, causing Womack to face alienation from his brothers, fans, and even fellow disc jockeys in the soul music community. The nuptials were viewed by many as a betrayal, leading to Womack's falling out with his brothers. The backlash extended to booing at concerts and even an assault by Barbara's brother. Cook's father was also upset, particularly worried about Womack being around the late singer's 11-year-old daughter, Linda. Despite the criticism, Bobby maintained that Sam would have approved of his marriage to Barbara. Bobby admitted to developing bad habits with his new wife and enduring the public perception of betrayal. Eventually, he took actions that irreparably damaged the marriage, leading to a swift end. In 1970, after 6 years of marriage, Barbara discovered Bobby in bed with her 18-year-old daughter, Linda Cook. Bobby was 25 at the time. Enraged, Barbara shoots Bobby in the temple, grazing him, and they divorce. Miss Cook resided in relative seclusion during her later years, and upon her passing at the age of 85 in April, she and her family's desire for privacy was respected with no public announcement made. The recent confirmation of her death came from David Washington.
When I met her, I was doing drugs, and I was telling her, why don't you try this? And she said, no, that's cocaine is an upper. I want to die.
A Detroit radio host with close ties to the Cook and Womack families, although no cause of death was disclosed. Surviving Miss Cook are her daughter, Miss Zacharias, and another daughter, Tracy Cook, as well as her twin sister, Beverly Lopez, and a granddaughter. Family members and Mr. Goralnik declined to comment on Miss Cook's life and death, honoring her wish for privacy. However, Miss Cook had the final say in Mr. Goralnik's extensive 750-page biography. The author included her recollections of falling in love with Mr. Cook and their romantic walks through Chicago's Ellis Park in the snow during their teenage years. "We'd walk around the park and fantasize," she shared with Mr. Goralnik. "We didn't have a dime between us, but you'd have thought I was the princess and he was the prince. Every time a Cadillac went by, I'd say, 'That's our chauffeur. He's coming to take us to our mansion.'" She concluded, "Everybody wants a happy ending. That's the way I see it." Linda's relationship with Bobby was short-lived. Eventually, she married Bobby's younger brother Cecil in 1979. Together, Linda and Cecil formed a musical duo known as Womack and Womack. They released multiple albums, including Love Wars, 1983, Radio Music Man, 1985, Starbright, 1986, Conscience, 1988, Family Spirit, 1991, and Transformation into the House of Zacharias, 1993. Despite facing the tragic loss of their son Vincent, who died by suicide at the age of 21 in 1986, Linda and Cecil remained devoted to each other. They had known each other since childhood and raised 7 children together until Cecil's passing in 2013. Bobby Womack's personal life was marked by a series of marriages and tragic losses. At the age of 29, he married his second spouse, Evelyn Evans, who also served as his secretary. Later, he tied the knot with his third wife, Regina Banks, on December 31st, 1975, when she was just 19 years old. Together, they had 3 children, but their marriage hit a rough patch in the early 1990s when Regina left for New York. Despite the separation, they eventually reconciled and remarried in 2013. In terms of his children, Womack faced heartbreaking losses, with 3 of his 6 children passing away before him. His firstborn, Vincent Dwayne Womack, tragically died by suicide at the young age of 21. Additionally, Barbara, his first wife, had 2 daughters from her previous marriage to Sam Cooke, Tracy, and Linda, and a son, Vincent Lance Cooke, who tragically drowned in the family pool at just 18 months old. With Regina, Womack had 2 sons, Truth Bobby and Bobby Truth, and a daughter, Gina Ree. Sadly, Truth Bobby passed away at only 4 months old due to a tragic accident, which led Womack to struggle with drug addiction. Bobby Truth, on the other hand, faced challenges with gangs and was sent to a youth detention center at a young age. Furthermore, Womack fathered 2 sons, Corey and Jordan, from his relationship with Jody Laba. In a tragic turn of events, Bobby's sibling, Harry Womack, lost his life in a shocking incident. Harry was stabbed in the neck with a steak knife by his girlfriend, Patricia Wilson, who was driven by jealousy. The altercation occurred when Wilson found another woman's clothing in a room that Harry was using at Bobby's residence, only to later realize that the clothes belonged to Bobby's girlfriend. In honor of his late brother, Bobby established the Harry James Womack Memorial Scholarship Fund with a $50,000 endowment to support minority students pursuing higher education, as Harry had always aspired to earn a degree. Later career. In 1993, the legendary Bobby Womack joined forces with the talented Lulu to create the soulful and captivating song, I'm Back for More. However, as the year 1994 rolled around, Womack's solo career started to lose momentum. Despite this, he didn't let that deter him, and in the mid-1990s, he surprised fans with his 20th studio album, Resurrection, which was released under the label of his close friend, Ronnie Wood. This album was a true testament to Womack's musical prowess, featuring collaborations with renowned artists such as Rod Stewart, Ronald Isley, Keith Richards, and Charlie Watts. Not to mention, his brothers from the Valentinos, Curtis, Friendly, and Cecil, lent their voices as background vocalists. Although the album produced 2 singles that made their mark on the Billboard R&B chart, the duet with Ronald Isley, Try Not to Break Down, and Forever Love Resurrection, received a mix of reviews from critics. Despite this, standout tracks like Cousin Henry and Don't Break Your Promise Too Soon showcased Womack's undeniable talent and creativity. In 2003, Bobby Womack found himself in a legal battle as judges in the High Court in London ruled that he had infringed on the copyright of Liverpool musician and songwriter Mark Thomas's song Cry Myself to Sleep. This unfortunate incident resulted in Thomas not receiving the rightful royalty payments owed to him. Following this setback, Womack decided to focus more on session work and guest appearances for the next decade. Towards the end of the 1980s, Womack surprised fans by releasing a gospel album titled Back to My Roots, adding a new dimension to his already impressive musical repertoire. Additionally, in 1986, the Manhattans released the album Back to Basics, featuring songs written and produced by Womack himself. His contributions on tracks such as Where Did We Go Wrong, a duet with Regina Belle, I'm Through Trying to Prove My Love to You, Mr. DJ, and Back Into the Night showcased his versatility as a musician and his ability to leave a lasting impact on the music industry. He has been prominently featured as the lead vocalist on a variety of tracks, showcasing his versatile vocal talents. Some notable examples include his work on Jun Yamagishi's My Pleasure album, where he took the lead on tracks like Inherit the Wind by Wilton Felder and Spootin' with Alan Toussaint. He also contributed his vocals to Ray and Christian's rendition of Wake Up Everybody. In addition to these collaborations, he has also worked with other esteemed artists such as Diane Shore on You Got What It Takes, Shirley Brown on Ain't Nothing Like the Lovin' We Got, and Andrew Love and Wayne Jackson on Break the Chain. He has even tackled iconic tracks like It's a Man's World with Jeannie Tracy. In 1989, he lent his vocals to Todd Rundgren's For the Want of a Nail, from the album Nearly Human, showcasing his ability to adapt to different musical styles. Furthermore, in 1998, he joined forces with the Roots to perform George Gershwin's classic Summertime for the Red Hot organization's compilation album Red Hot Plus Rhapsody, demonstrating his commitment to charitable causes. In a touching tribute to his late friend Eddie Kendricks, who passed away in October of 1992 after battling lung cancer, Womack organized 4 tribute concerts in his honor. The concerts, which had been planned before Kendrick's passing, featured performances by music legends like Chaka Khan, Mary Wilson, and Bill Withers, with Womack himself headlining the event. In 2010, Bobby Womack embarked on a fruitful collaboration with Mos Def, lending his soulful vocals to the song Stylo, which served as the lead single from the Gorillaz album Plastic Beach. During the recording process, Womack was given the freedom to let his creativity flow, resulting in heartfelt lyrics that delved into themes of love and politics. Not only did Womack contribute his vocals to Stylo, but he also lent his voice to the tracks Cloud of Unknowing and Bobby and Phoenix on Gorillaz' album The Fall, which was released later that same year in December. 2 years later, in 2012, Womack released a new record under the esteemed label XL Recordings. The album, titled The Bravest Man in the Universe, was a collaborative effort overseen by the talented duo of Damon Albarn and Richard Russell. The lead single from the album, Please Forgive My Heart, was generously offered as a free download on XL Recordings' official website on March 8, 2012. News surfaced that Womack was also working on a blues record entitled Living in the House of Blues, which promised exciting collaborations with the likes of Stevie Wonder, Snoop Dogg, and Rod Stewart. In an interview with Uncut, Womack revealed that his next project would be titled The Best Is Yet to Come, and would feature esteemed artists such as Tina Marie and Ronnie Isley. Womack's musical journey continued to flourish as he joined forces with Van Morrison for a soulful duet titled Some Peace of Mind on Morrison's 2015 album Duets, reworking the catalog. Additionally, Womack teamed up with Rudimental on the uplifting track New Day for their second studio album, We the Generation. The collaboration with Rudimental was a result of mutual interest and creative exchange of ideas. Tragically, Womack passed away, but his legacy lived on through his music. His wife graciously shared an a cappella vocal that Womack had recorded for Rudimental, and they lovingly crafted the track in his honor. Bobby Womack's final live performance took place on June 14, 2014, at the Bonnaroo Music Festival in Tennessee, leaving behind a lasting imprint on the music industry and the hearts of his fans. Drug addiction, health issues, and death. In his autobiography, Midnight Mover, Womack candidly discussed his extensive drug use. He admitted to starting to use cocaine in the late 1960s and engaging in drug-fueled activities with his close friend Sly Stone. Womack confessed to Rolling Stone in 1984 that he was heavily involved in drug consumption, including cocaine, alcohol, marijuana, and pills, often staying awake for days on end. He described himself and Sly Stone as partners in their drug use. Additionally, in 1974, Womack suffered a concussion during a recording session.
Says, let's stop here. You got no choice.
Resulting in temporary blindness after flipping over an amplifier. By the late 1970s, Womack's cocaine consumption had developed into a full-blown addiction. He partially linked his substance abuse to the tragic death of his infant son. Truth in 1978, a loss that profoundly impacted him. Throughout the majority of the 1980s, Womack grappled with a deepening addiction that significantly impeded his career progress, largely due to his drug dependency. In 1985, following a string of 14 consecutive performances, Womack was admitted to the hospital due to a blood circulation issue in his left leg. Towards the conclusion of the 1980s, he sought treatment at a rehabilitation facility to overcome his cocaine addiction, a battle he ultimately triumphed over. Womack successfully battled prostate cancer but subsequently faced a series of health challenges, including diabetes, pneumonia, colon cancer, and early indications of Alzheimer's disease. Womack was diagnosed with diabetes in his later years. In March 2012, it came to light that Womack had been diagnosed with colon cancer, a revelation made by Bootsy Collins on his Facebook page. Following this, Womack disclosed that he was scheduled for cancer surgery. Subsequently, on May 24, 2012, it was reported that the surgery to remove a tumor from Womack's colon was successful, leading to his declaration of being cancer-free. By January 1, 2013, Womack openly shared his struggles with memory loss, including difficulty recalling his songs and other individuals' names. Eventually, he received a diagnosis of early-stage Alzheimer's disease. Womack passed away at his residence in Tarzana, California, at the age of 70 on June 27, 2014. Following his cremation, his ashes were interred at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park Cemetery in Glendale, California, specifically in the Great Mausoleum, Memorial Terrace, and Memorial Terrace Columbarium. Legacy. Calvin Richardson, a talented artist, was handpicked in the year 2009 to spearhead the creation of a tribute album dedicated to the legendary Bobby Womack in honor of Womack's well-deserved recognition and induction into the prestigious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The album, entitled Facts of Life, The Soul of Bobby Womack, not only received critical acclaim, but also earned a Grammy nomination for its exceptional quality. It resonated with music lovers across the nation, ultimately securing the impressive number 30 spot on the highly competitive US R&B chart. Furthermore, in the early months of 2012, Bobby Womack's illustrious career and remarkable contributions to the music industry were immortalized in a captivating documentary series called Unsung, which aired on the popular television network TV One. This documentary shed light on Womack's incredible journey, highlighting his influence and impact on the world of music. Calvin Richardson's involvement in the tribute album and Womack's feature in the documentary series served as a testament to the enduring legacy of these two iconic figures in the realm of soul and R&B music. What do you think about Bobby Womack's life? Please leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.